What up, world?
We're live.
Hello.
We're here.
Episode 5.
Wow. Crazy.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah. You can hear me?
Kumbaya. I can hear you.
Oh, let me put on my headphones.
Yeah. Pretend. They're not even plugged in. It's amazing. Okay.
All right.
Welcome back. Hello, everyone.
This is the Authentic Souls podcast. I'm Danielle Churchill.
And I am Savannah Nicholson. We're so happy to have you.
We're so happy to be back. We had to come back and tell you about our 4th of July party because I know everyone was just sitting on the edge of their seats to hear about that.
They were like, what? How was their block party?
Everyone was talking about it.
I know.
Our Instagram was just blowing up with people just asking us so many questions.
DMing us all weekend.
Yeah.
What are you wearing to the block party? Who's going to be there? What is happening?
Tell us.
We're here to tell you. So you don't have to wait any longer. Don't worry.
Even if this is our last episode ever, we had to come back just to tell the story.
Just to talk about the block party.
Yeah.
Man, we're really hyping up. Not a lot. Anyway, hi. Welcome back. Happy post-holiday weekend. 4th of July.
Hope everyone had a great, relaxing weekend.
My 4th of July was really great. I honestly had a really, really positive day. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was just a really nice day.
Do you want to tell everyone, Savannah, about your night?
My nice night and day. So woke up, drove to...
Oh, we're starting from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Just like a quick little one, because I want to talk about the old lady that I was talking about.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't call her old, but the lady. We went to a family 4th of July barbecue with my boyfriend's parents' house. And I was just vibing with these Marin, like, retired women who were just, like, hippie liberal women, and I was telling her what Danielle and I did, and this woman goes, that just sounds so groovy. And I was like, yes,
she gets it.
This lady gets it. And I loved that. I just loved that mirroring confirmation from the universe that.
And especially from an older generation too.
Oh, and that wasn't our first like positive confirmation from the universe from the older generation of that day.
Yeah.
Like this is how magical that day was.
I know.
So anyway, that was just my daytime activity. Then we came back to the house to meet up with Danielle and Sean. It's Danielle's boyfriend. And our other roommate, Reggie.
The whole house got together.
We
got a full house over here.
Yeah, there's 5 of us. And we had a little barbecue, and there was a block party in the front yard. Everyone hung out. It was just really wholesome. I think that was the word. It was a very wholesome day.
Super wholesome.
And really positive, and just seeing everyone reconnect on such a basic communal, like community level, like in the neighborhood. Like everyone's just eating outside of their house in their driveways or on their front porch. And we have a really nice, beautiful deck. So we were just chilling and enjoying each other's company, and
even brought the dogs out to socialize with everyone.
It was so sweet. And Sean, Danielle's boyfriend, he's like been in the neighborhood for a while, so it was really fun watching everyone get so excited to meet Danielle, his new girlfriend. And I was just like, it's just a happy family. Like, I'm so happy to be here.
And we found out that low-key, some of our neighbors are woke as fuck.
Oh, woke AF. So Margarita across the street, Sean's 4th grade teacher.
Also, my best friend in the neighborhood is Andrea Dog.
Yes.
We talked about this last time. This is Andre's grandma.
Andre's grandma, Margarita, in her 60s as well. I was explaining to her what Danielle and I do, explaining the podcast, the vibe, intuition living, inspirational content. And she looks at me and she goes, have you ever heard of Just Lively? And if you know Danielle and I, you know we love The Lively Show, and that Just Lively has been a huge inspiration for everything we're doing. So that was just such a great validation moment. Again, just from the universe, from wherever, but I just got so giddy and excited and called Danielle over and was like, say it again so she can hear.
And I feel like I'm not going to go into a whole story about this, but I just feel like we need some context. Okay. So how many years ago was it that you actually went to be on Just Lively's show?
That was in January 2019, but I started listening to her in 2015.
So she was a huge fan. She flew out to, was it
Pittsburgh.
to be on her new show, was on her show, and it was on the plane flight back that she got the inspiration to start this podcast. And this was before me. This was back when it was an idea for her to be kind of like solo
That's a trip.
podcaster.
I didn't even put that together till just now.
And she started the Authentic Soul podcast, which later we reimagined
to the
as
plural.
the Authentic Souls podcast and rebranded.
Totally. Studios.
So it was like a matter of like a few years of just shifting until
it literally took
point.
2 years of shifting to get this podcast to a place of like comfortability.
Yeah.
But I was literally on the Just Lively show,
Mm-hmm.
the YouTube show. I was on the show on the plane ride, back from Pittsburgh, had the inspirational ping,
Mm-hmm.
the Authentic Soul podcast. I was so overwhelmed and had no fucking clue how I was ever going to do that with all the other business ideas that we had.
Yeah.
And it just sat on the back burner, and I paid $20 a month for this podcasting like website to hold the domain for the Authentic Soul podcast. So I was like, no other person can have this ever. And then, it just so happened that the pandemic happens.
Mm-hmm.
We have to rebrand out of the studio. And then you and I were sitting there.
We were in Santa Cruz.
We were in Santa Cruz, which is
before
where we
we
are
moved here.
now.
And that was the big inspiration for shifting into this new way, apart from the studio.
Yeah.
Because
And we were trying to
that was
come
our
up with a
branding.
name, and we couldn't figure out a name.
Yeah.
And you were the one who were like, oh, I really like your podcast name. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, let's just use it.
Yeah.
And then the weirdest part is that it
Yeah.
actually connects to your name.
Mm-hmm. My original OG business name is Radical Souls Collective. And it's so funny because people who have known me forever get really confused now because they're like, Authentic Souls, Radical Souls. And so they're like connected somehow.
They're somehow weirdly divinely
Yeah.
connected by frequency or energy or I don't know what.
I know.
But it's a spider web effect of just like,
But
whoa.
the spider web that started with Just Lively, which is so funny that it comes full circle
to
when our
have
neighbor is like, oh, do you know who this is? It's
our
like
60-year-old
yeah.
neighbor looks at us and goes, you know who you remind me of is the person that was the catalyst of
Mhm.
everything we're doing.
and everything. I know, what a trip.
It was just such a highlight to literally like, I told Danielle, like, I'm like, this will keep my faith tank going for like 6 months. Like
It was getting low there
Yeah.
for a minute, but we're feeling re-inspired.
feeling very
in a
much
good way.
inspired. And hopefully you can hear that in our voices. Like, I'm like, I have like purpose again. I'm like, someone
Yeah.
gets it.
I feel like this is going to be the most like upbeat that we've been.
I know.
You kind of went through it with us as we were going through it and having all these like roller coaster of emotions. And now we're like, yeah, back at it. Let's do this.
Mhm.
Yeah. And my realization, far less profound, on 4th of July.
Your 4th
I
of
was
July
like,
realizations. Yeah.
I am ready to get back at it. Like we talked about FOMO last time. I'm
Mhm.
like so over the FOMO train. I'm ready to get back into it. I'm feeling excited. I want to talk to people and meet new people. Like
Mhm.
I'm kind of getting back into my
Practice with your
Sagittarius
neighbors.
self. Yeah, I practice.
You were like, wait, this isn't that hard to talk
like
to
this
our
isn't
neighbors.
hard, and I also wish we were like getting more wild tonight, and we're not. And
like,
I kind
where's
of wish we
the
were.
4th of July Jello shots? Who's doing that?
There's ice cream, but like, where's like the hard alcohol and the drugs? No, I'm kidding. Not really.
There's like 5-year-olds running around. Danielle's on MDMA, just like dancing in the moonlight to the fireworks.
Oh gosh, I wish. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We have some stories about intentional.
Oh, we could do a
Medicine
whole
usage.
episode on
I
that.
don't even like the word drug because it has such a negative connotation, and that's
Yeah.
not how we treat them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's soul medicine. That's all I can really
like
explain
that.
it. Spiritual
Yeah.
soul medicine.
We could tell you some
Anyway.
stories about that.
We'll go into that.
But that's a whole episode.
Yeah, let us know if you want to hear about that. Which substance you would like us to touch on.
Or maybe we'll just try a new one for you.
Yeah, like Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. Have you ever seen that
Oh
show?
God, I love that.
Yeah,
show.
you love that show. Anyone else? If haven't seen that show on Vice, check it out.
He's like
Great show.
he's like a drug nerd, but he's like really into the science behind it and how it's made. But he just like loves
And also
it.
the intention behind it, which is like, like why do people do this? Where does it come from? What's the culture behind it?
Exactly, like
but also,
embracing
like,
the culture.
Yeah, and then the science behind it of like the chemical compounds and like then he'll just like make it in a lab and you're like, what?
Yeah, he's like, this is how you make meth.
Anyway, we do not condone meth. That is not a soul medicine.
But it is interesting to watch someone make it.
That is interesting.
In a controlled setting.
Yes,
on
in
a
a
show.
controlled setting on a show.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we went somewhere with that.
So we were
tangent,
talking about your 4th of July realizations,
and we were
got on
talking
a tangent about meth.
And I think we were talking about also, we feel more like our real selves again. We're getting back to
We're getting back on the bike.
Yeah.
Of life.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm smiling so much this episode.
I always forget to look at the camera.
I know.
I feel like I always avoid it.
I have not been wanting to. Yeah, if you guys want to ever watch this on YouTube, we've been live streaming these. But I've been super uncomfortable with the camera and I just ignored it. But this is the first time, but I think it's like, because you're right, because I'm feeling a little bit better about myself and a little more confident. So I'm like, hey, I can actually host a podcast now.
We're like, we look cute today. We tried. We're wearing dresses, little matching dresses. We didn't even plan it.
In our feminine energy.
Yeah. But let's talk about what has been going on this week besides all of that.
Besides
magic.
The 4th of July.
In our business world. You want to talk about
business
a little bit? Let's do it.
Let's do it. So where do we begin?
So for anyone that knows social media at all, or maybe works in social media, or I mean, I feel like everyone has their toe in social media some way or another. Instagram, the platform in which we built how many businesses on over the years? Quite a few.
Oh my God, God bless. How many businesses?
So many.
Literally, like I've built like so like past relationships. I'm pretty sure, if you want to do some weird ass digging, you can find an Instagram page I made like so long ago with like an old ex.
You still have it?
I don't know what the password is to delete it.
Gotcha.
So I'm just hoping, I'm not going to say the name. No one's ever going to know what it is. And I don't think our names are on it. So thank God. But
it still lives on.
It just shows you how odd the internet is. And save your passwords, kids. That's the lesson in this, because when a relationship ends and you can't delete the photos, what are you going to do?
Anyway, I'm just gonna
on a tangent
on track a little bit. Anyway, what I was saying is this week, Instagram announced that they are no longer a photo sharing platform.
Yeah.
So whether you're starting a page with your boyfriend or your ex-boyfriend, or you're starting a business, just know that you have to learn how to make video now, because that's the way of the future.
Yeah. Yeah. And back to the business part. I've done jewelry business. We've done the studio. Danielle's done macrame, wall hangings,
graphic design. What else?
And I bring, you make it sound so like random that I brought up the ex-boyfriend. I bring it up because he was also creative. We started his first business online. That account that I was mentioning was like an attempt at being a blogger at one point. It's just a huge part of our business journey, both together and separately. Yeah. And I think just like this age range, like when social media started becoming popular in like 2012, 2013, there was a handful of people that really demonstrated and showed that like, oh, you can grow a small business on social media, and it can go places like fairly quickly. So Danielle and I were basically like sprinting out the gate, I would say, in those earlier years of like building a social media and like doing that on Instagram. And it was like really successful.
Yeah.
And then over the past 5 years, we've gone through the ups and downs of figuring out like Instagram as their algorithms change and like trying to keep up with the rat race. And now basically they're telling us, yeah, they're telling us the race that you've trained for 6 years is done. We're taking it out of the Olympics.
Yeah.
You now need to learn how to become a swimmer. And we're like, wait, what? I was a track star. She's a runner. She's a track star. And now I'm like, I have to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
And that's TikTok and Reels.
Yeah. And that's a new phase of things. And like you said, I mean, we've spent so much time just learning these ways and just building our businesses. And then for it to just be like, oh, now you have to learn something totally new, totally different. I know we can do it, but it's a little bit like, oh shit. Okay,
like,
here we go.
You had more followers than I did on like my business account at one point. What was Radical Souls at? Is that?
I think at one point I hit about 21 or 22,000 before I kind of stopped.
And how many likes did like your most liked photo get at the time of like peak photos on Instagram?
I would get way more engagement when I had half the amount of followers. And that's what's been so frustrating with Instagram over the years is when I had 5 to 10K followers, but this was like years ago, like that's when I was getting my peak engagement. I had videos that were getting 30,000 views, like, and I was feeling good.
Like 600 likes on average. Cause I was I'm at like 7,000. Like, excuse me, 600 likes on a photo. There's no way. My things will average, they'll never hit above 100 likes. That's never good. That's rare. If it's a really good bikini shot where someone's titties are out or their ass is out, then on my photo will hit like 130, 150.
Yeah.
But like, if it's just a jewelry shot, people aren't interested.
Yeah. It's super frustrating. And it kind of went through basically once Facebook bought Instagram, it became, I can't talk. It became pay to play. So it was like, oh, you want to get the engagement and the likes you used to get? Pay us. And then we'll make sure everyone sees it. And then now it's even gone further than that. It's like, don't even try. Just don't even post photos anymore. Don't even do that. And we're like,
literally.
Cool.
Well, and it's kind of a nice firm boundary and line that they're drawing in the sand, because you and I have just basically been complaining for a year and like just at a loss for what to do because the way we've built our online businesses isn't working anymore. So now it's like we've just been like, what are we gonna do? And like not wanting to shift to video and Reels and TikTok just because it's so clunky and we were apart for so long too, so that it was so much harder to create video content when we'd see each other like once a month. But even like we've had to learn how to do it. It's not anything that naturally, like photos naturally came easy to me because that's how I built my business. But now it's like we literally have to, like you said, like we're learning a new sport. So but that being said, we spent all of Saturday because, we had that conversation. I think you showed me that video where like the CEO of Instagram is literally like, y'all, I'm telling you straight up, we're not going to promote your photos. Like they literally announced that. Like, they were like, our biggest competitors right now are YouTube and TikTok, and we're trying to go in that direction. Like, we're not trying to do something different. So that was a huge wake-up call. Like you said, it was nice to just get that confirmation so we could just be fully done with being like, but like, what if? And it's just like, no, like, this is what you need to do now. And I think it was really helpful for us to have someone like be like, this is what you need to do. We're like, yeah, like we knew, but now we're like, okay, Instagram messaged us personally.
That's what we needed.
He actually came over for dinner and was like, girls,
this is what you need to do.
We're switching your mindset. So then I'm actually very proud of us. That happened Friday. We woke up Saturday and we spent all of Saturday filming content. I'm super proud of how it turned out. At this point, we're just realizing like we're going to start doing a schedule of once a week, just getting fully ready and bust out a bunch of video content. And it is fun. It is definitely more work, but I have faith that we'll kind of just get into the habit of it and get good at it. Yeah. But definitely a learning curve there. There's a learning curve and there's like a weird limbo because we already kind of went through this process, I feel like, on social media with our businesses that were paying us, like with jewelry or with macrame. We had hit this sweet spot of like, all right, I got my routine down, and like I also have like money coming in, and it was just like, you know, this nice exchange, and you're not looking for money. Like, I mean, you're getting funds from customers, but that's like a direct to consumer relationship rather than like trying to find sponsors or trying to find basically just sponsors. That's like the only other option.
Sponsored content. Yeah.
And so we're kind of in this in between place with starting the podcast now, because like, how do you monetize a podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So we're now in this new unfamiliar territory of like, okay, showing up, making content online, also filming the podcast. And then, yeah, we're just going to see what this blossoms into together. We're all in this together, but
it's a lot of new.
It's a lot of newness. Yeah.
But I think, what are we on, episode 5? Like, the fact that we're here for number 5 feels really exciting to me. And Savannah had told me that you did 11 episodes solo. So she feels like she'll really feel satisfied when we get to 12. So I'm feeling satisfied at
like
5.
Almost halfway.
This is new, but I'm like, let's hit that number 12, and then we'll really hit our stride from there.
Well, and this feels so different than the interviews that I was doing in the beginning, because I feel like we're building, like, as I say this out loud, this is a lot of out loud processing. Like, we're building so much on each episode, but it's like our relationship too. Like, I feel like our relationship's just going to become, we don't even get it because we're so in it, but like, it's just becoming so deep, so deep, which is so amazing. But like with each episode, it's just, we learn more things about ourselves and about each other and about the world. And it's just this like really beautiful time to process. And I feel like we talked about in the first episode, our relationship, we really built a foundation the first 3 years of working together, that now it's like this new iteration. And as we podcast and as we film, it's just going to be so interesting to watch how it unfolds.
Because there's like this level of, we have to be in sync for something to be successful, whether it's these conversations or a video. And so there's a lot like behind the scenes that we have to make sure that we're working on, because if we show up in a place where we're not in sync, or we're not on the same page, or there's like any kind of weird feelings, like, we can't show up the same, and the content is not going to be good.
It's that,
and we know it.
A good point. And I'm so glad you said that, because I haven't like articulated that in my brain. But like, we literally have to be on the same wavelength and frequency for the content to be good. Because we've had a couple experiences, and then you're going to go through this like, what's going on? Like this like mini panic moment where you're like, why aren't things flowing the right way? But we're realizing, like, with, I don't want to say like the seriousness, but like just as things grow, and as our content becomes more professional, and as it becomes better and like more, what's the word? Detail oriented, just, I don't want to say better. More professional, more.
Yeah. I always say,
how are you describing Paige's content?
I always say like clean. Yeah. Like, everything's just clean, detail, like, attention like the
to details
are there, but we're still
having a standard. One of the things that we're really, really trying to hold to, because I think everyone just gave, as we had to, because we were surviving, but we just gave each other so much grace and ourselves so much grace for the year, that I think now getting in this place of self-discipline and self-standards of like, that's not good enough. Like, that's okay to say that. And it's been,
and that's how we've always been. It's just been, we've fallen off the horse. Yeah.
We've gotten a little too soft.
Literally.
Like just a little, like it was also good for us, because we've also learned to go with the flow, a huge break, how to let someone else like run with their vision. Like, I think that's like also something that we've gotten good at too. It's just like, okay, this person really sees it. Like, let her do it. Like, let the other person just handle it and do it. You don't need to force yourself into this thing. But at the same time, if either of our intuitions are like pinging or screaming at us, like, it's not good enough, do it again. Like, we have to like respect and trust the other person's inner guidance system as well. Like, it may be really annoying that she's telling me to do better, or to do it again, or to whatever, but just knowing it's for the betterment of like the entire project and brand.
Yeah. Well, and it's such a balance too of us wanting to show up super authentically, super vulnerably, showing our personalities and trying to find that balance of that, but then also the cleanliness or the that somewhat perfection or the curation. So finding a balance is like something we're still figuring out because all those things are very important to us. We don't want to
we still want
lose
the
any
content to be entertaining.
We want it to be good. We want it to be visually look good, but we also don't want to be too like fakey. So I think that's been a process of figuring out, well, what kind of video content do we want to put out that shows these parts of ourselves? Anyway, just that balance. It's been
and that's like what you're saying is there's a whole. It's just like I was saying before, you're learning a completely new way to show up on the internet, and like the way we would brainstorm about social media 3 years ago is so different than the way we would brainstorm about social media now.
Yeah,
like it's not photos. I'm not gonna say it because I want to wait till we're like actually working on it. So I'm gonna wait till maybe next week or in a couple weeks I'll share it. But the next project we're gonna work on that like we haven't seen before, I'm really curious just to see how it does, because like traditional photo content isn't like, basically, like we said, the CEO was like, stop trying. So we've basically deleted photo out of our brain, which is really bizarre and a completely new way to think. Unless we're using it for a cover for the reels, like that's the only reason why we would really use a photo.
Yeah.
Or
just like filler photos just for like the aesthetic,
for the website.
It's not,
yeah.
It's not like our main focus. That's not where we're going to get the most interaction. So we don't worry about it as much.
But now it's kind of fun because we're like, all right, what kind of like content do we want to like fill the space with in between like podcast announcements? So that's like fun personality videos, or like we love personal style and like creativity. So like I think we're going to do a lot of outfit ones. And there's two of us, so we can kind of play off that, like the interactive like reels or TikToks where it's like this or that, like whose is who. Like we're just shifting our mindset towards basically you got to like jump ship before it sinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
and
what
I
we're
feel
doing.
like we knew
a
while ago
My sister
that
told
we
me a
should
year
have
ago.
jumped, but we were like not ready. And now there's like one lifeboat left.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, like we have to get on this. We have to jump ship.
Or we're gonna die.
Yeah.
But like
there's
actually,
one lifeboat left.
but actually, like our business will die. So
yeah. So we've been kind of stubborn in like, no, we can still make this work. And so I think that's been a huge lesson, just letting go of like, you got to just try something new, even though it's really fucking scary. But video is really fun. Like it really is. So as we're getting into it, I'm like, I know like we'll get back to the point where we have just that confidence in what we're doing, the way that we did with photo and content. And yeah, we'll see. Because it's so funny if you go to our Instagram, like it's shifted so much over the last 2 years. Like it was the studio, and then over quarantine, like we would throw out like some like yoga, meditation stuff. And then we went through a phase of like really like heavy written inspiration, which I would like to get back to, but probably not in the same way, probably more video formatted. But anyway, it's just kind of fun to play with.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And we really just like, we have this really clear articulation this past weekend. It was mainly that video that Danielle shared with me of the CEO, like I said, announcing, y'all cut it out. Like stop.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together. Stop expecting your photos to do well. Unless it's just for fun. And that's also something we're going to continue to do, is just like have photo shoots for fun because we like that. But as far as a business goes online, if you haven't jumped ship yet, start doing some content online.
This is your sign to get on TikTok, even if you don't want to.
Start. One thing that Danielle and I have been applying, which I would just highly encourage anyone else who can get stuck in that flowy feminine state of just like never
like not taking action
or sticking to their word, is we've been trying to implement structure and consistency. So the podcast is like number one for us.
Yeah.
Getting that episode out every week.
To know that we have to show up for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next little layer of consistency we're applying is content. So yeah, if anything, if you hear us doing that and you want to jump on our ship with us and you want to try out the consistency and you want to just try it, just try hopping online.
Yeah.
And whatever, there's so many different video styles. Like if you don't want to put your face on it, there's like aesthetic styles. Ooh, should we talk about your kind of aesthetic for the videos that you're doing for?
Well, I'll let you, this was your idea. So
right.
I'll let you, this is her idea for my business.
So for Danielle's business, she's been doing like moody for Radical Souls Collective. She's been doing some like moody interior
shots.
Design reels and TikToks. And I'm sure you've all seen it. They're very popular on Instagram. And I call it Xanax content because it's so
visual
Xanax. And because it's just so like meditative soothing. And especially with the past year, I think like that content's really taken off. There's some great people on YouTube. Hannah Lee Duggan, she's my girl. She has some great Xanax content, visual Xanax. You just watch it, zone out, and your heart rate slows down and you calm down.
It's like very grounding.
So grounding, so comforting, so soothing. And the reels are great because they're short, so they go on repeat. Anyway.
Yeah, she's more like the vlog vibe.
Yeah, Hannah's the vlog.
Would be fun to eventually do, I think, but for now it's easier to think about it in little spurts.
Yeah, 6-second video rather than a 36-minute video.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's so funny because like Savannah and I have such different like what do I want to say? Different like ways of processing content, I guess. So like for her, when she gets really anxious, it's helpful for her to watch a grounding 30-minute video. Where for me, when I get into my like anxious state, or sometimes I'll call it my potato state, where I just like cough energy, like can't move, just like stuck almost. It's helpful for me to watch something like TikTok because it's so quick. It like keeps me going. Like I can't sit and watch the same thing for 30 minutes. Like I have to like watch a bunch of little like quick clips. And so it's interesting too, like the content that we both gravitate towards. So kind of trying to do both, I guess, because everyone's different.
And I think like, yeah, no, that's so true. Yeah. If you run more anxious, like the slower content, the like more soothing content, YouTube's where it's like 30-minute long videos that you're really invested in versus when you're like
sitting and watching the sunrise.
Literally, Hannah.
And I'm like, okay, get to the point. What's she doing next?
Yeah, Hannah's just like catching a spider in her cabin, and you're just like watching her in this beautiful aesthetic, beautiful cabin. But then like if you run more depressive, then like the shorter videos where it like picks up your attention and your energy gets like heightened by each video would probably be more suitable for you rather than a video that's just going to make you sink into the potato state even more, you know.
Although I did really enjoy those few mountain videos that you showed me. They are very relaxing.
Yeah. I mean, and you can, when you're in like a neutral state, you can absorb content. Like I still love TikTok. I love fast-paced videos, but not when I'm not feeling well. That's like not what I want to watch. So anyway, we say all of that because there's so many different types of content, and whatever you may feel pulled towards, like, or whatever content you really like, maybe try finding like the most simple version of that.
And just like play with it a little bit.
Whatever you feel like at your level you can start with, try that. Like Danielle and we're really trying to get into like the more fashiony, like styled, clean, like she said, very clean, very edited. We want to have a mix of content. And so there's a lot of like really overwhelming ones where I'm like, this takes them like 4 fucking hours to film. Like I don't my brain just can't.
We're not there yet.
So we picked a really simple sunglasses one, and I was like, all right, we can do this. We can do this.
And then when we do it, it's like, oh shit, like that feels like we can take on a little bit more next time.
It turned out really cute.
Yeah.
Go look at it. Go give it some love.
Yeah.
Or if you're a super fan, you've probably already seen it. And I love you. But anyway.
That's our spiel about our new life. We are video creators now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And
no, it's true though. Like that's also the other thing is like speak about yourself the way you want to be seen in the world. Like I was really practicing that at the block party to all of our neighbors. Like, this is a fresh chance to introduce ourselves to the world and to show up how we want to show up. And I'm going to say it all very confidently, because usually it's kind of like, well, we do this and well, we are trying to do that. And I was like, no, this is who I am. This is who Danielle is. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And this reciprocate, like
everyone's stoked.
The energy that we received was, it was like, they were literally like, oh, we have podcasters in the neighborhood. I was like, yeah, you do.
Well, and it's kind of refreshing because with all the phases that the studio went through, like I never knew how to explain to people exactly what we did. So there was always this level, even at my most confident, there's always this level of the other person like wanting to understand, but not really understanding. And that's sometimes frustrating. And so to have people be like, oh shit, yeah, like I listen to podcasts, I get it. It's a lot more fun to share what you do than if people are like, oh, that's cool, but like they don't really get it.
We were doing an idea for a long time. Like, we wanted to hold space for people, and we were doing that through the studio, and like we were trying to express that. Like we wanted, like with Radical Souls Collective, like even that alone, like I remember you expressing to me like you wanted to like take on other people and like have like this collective community feel. Like that was in the name. Yeah. So like you've had community underlying in your brands since the get-go. Yeah. And then we met each other, and then we were able to do the studio, and we were able to like hold community within the studio, which was really cool, and workshops and events. But it was hit a glass ceiling because we could only hold like 10 people in the studio at a time.
And we always have such big dreams that, like you said, it's sometimes comes off as more of a concept than like, what are you actually doing? Because it's like, oh, this is what we're doing right now, but like we want to do so much more.
Yeah. It's kind of like, just follow us on Instagram and watch us for the next 10 years and let's see where we're at.
Because we're not really sure, but like we have a lot of fucking ideas. So we'll see which one, like you said, throwing the spaghetti at the wall. We'll see what spaghetti noodles stick.
Yeah. But like I'm so proud of us and stoked that we committed. And as hard as this past winter was, like we made the commitment, and we, like you said, we dedicated the rebrand to the Authentic Souls last September. So we went through the entire winter, which was just fucking hell and back, and sold our studio, like got rid of every part of our identity that we thought we were, and we still showed up and we were like, well, this is literally the only thing we know we're supposed to do.
Yeah. And the fact that that was the first idea in rebranding, it was always the podcast. It just had to come at the perfect time.
And even the podcast, while we had the studio, we were still going to have the podcast. Yeah. So it's interesting, and it feels so relieving to be able to basically delete the studio and just like implement the podcast instead, because it's like just as much work, because the consistency of showing up. I mean, you don't realize how quick a week flies by until you got to record again, and you're like, zam. A week just happened? Okay, here we go again.
I think this is the first week that I showed up and I was like so ready to go. So I think that's a good sign, because the other weeks, like I'm like so terrified. Like, oh my God, we have to do it again. I don't know how it's going to turn out. We just
did it.
But it's becoming to feel more comfortable. So that's good.
No, definitely.
That helps.
And this is the first week that we're going to have to record 2 episodes in a week. So.
Yeah. So we'll see how
we're growing and evolving. We're showing up and staying consistent.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess the other part of this is like when you start living your life based by your intuition, you learn to hold faith so much stronger. Like you literally, like you were talking about this in the car earlier today, you don't have another option. Like
I'm like, this is all I've got is faith. Like I can't not have faith, because what else am I gonna have? Like I just have to. And like I've had a few opportunities over the past year to I'll just be a little more specific. So what I do for money is I'm a social media manager. And so I manage about 30 different Airbnb properties in Joshua Tree. And so through that, I've been given several opportunities over the last year to kind of expand and take on more. And every time I get asked to take on more, I kind of have this like gut feeling, like don't put your energy into this. And so it's scary because they're literally like, hey, we want to offer you more time and more money. Like, and I should take it like logically,
Mhm.
but every time it's been like, nope, nope, nope. And so I have to say no, which is terrifying because I'm like, is this the wrong answer? And so it just makes me hold the faith even more of like, that you've got something else, you're making space for something else. So don't take on too much in the meantime just because you're scared.
Yeah.
And you let the fear take over.
Yeah. Danielle and I, yeah. And that's really like when it comes down to it, this underlying connector that we both have is, I don't know what it is in us, or like what it is in our souls, or I don't know why we're feel
stubborn
the need.
as fuck.
We're stubborn as fuck, but also we have this like drive to show up in this big
Chutzpah.
way. Chutzpah. Yeah. It's chutzpah. Our dear friend Richie once, he
was our studio grandpa. He helped us a lot at the studio. He was an artist downtown San Luis Obispo, and he was kind of like our little guardian angel, but like total grandpa energy. And that's what he would tell us.
And just validated us so strong, because I'm fucking aware that I trigger the shit out of a lot of people, especially people who want to be living their dreams and living their best lives. And it can be really triggering when you want to be happy for two girls who are doing the damn thing, but also like, I get it. And so sometimes I don't know, how do I word this eloquently? And I kind of feel weird talking about it, but also like it just needs to be said. But like the comparison, I can see other people compare themselves to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last thing I would ever want.
And we do the same thing.
And we do the same thing too.
Yeah.
But it's really, 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 really nice when you can meet someone who can just be so genuinely happy for you and can see you just in your fullest light and see what you're doing and just like mirror back to you what you're doing. And so basically this man is just the brightest light. He's in his late 70s, 80s.
70s, yeah.
And admires and like holds space for Danielle's and I's relationship, and just in the most beautiful way that is just the most like grandpa energy. That's all I can say. And I don't have any of my grandpas left. Do you?
No.
Yeah. So it's like, it's the most, just sacred
grandpa,
sacred relationship. And he sees us so fully. And he always just is like, you guys have chutzpah. And just, the Jewish word for just like energy.
Like fire under our
asses. And I don't know where it came from. And thank God we found each other. Thank God we were brought together, because now we're able to grow, hopefully, a lot quicker. I mean, it feels like it. Like I couldn't have done any of this without you.
Yeah.
But he's just, he loves our relationship, and that's such a fun support system. It's just such a special support system. So anyway, he recognized our chutzpah. He really shared that word with us, and like, I don't know how we got on this tangent. Holding faith.
I think
not knowing where we're going.
Yeah.
Feeling like you're just kind of aimlessly wandering, and like sometimes you're looking for validation outside of you. Like, am I doing the right thing? But like you said, sometimes you're just walking around,
just holding the faith
for yourself. And then you meet these like really, really, really special, magical people who can just put their egos aside and just give you all the praise and be so happy for you. And you're like,
and help you hold that weight of faith a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe why we were talking about that, is like having faith over fear, and how like that's your only option is having faith.
Yeah.
But just having this drive within us too, like I know we have it, like I know we have it because it's what's built everything thus far.
Yeah.
It's just like not leaning. It's just training a muscle to not lean into the fear.
Yeah.
Even more. Just like anytime you feel fear, you just have to, it's just a muscle. You just got to train it. What is the equal positive thought that you're having that is so fearful? And it has to be the equal frequency. It has to be equally as potent. So for fear,
Instead of worst case scenario, going to best case
Yeah.
scenario and living in that.
And just
Yeah.
holding that frequency,
Yeah.
You literally have two options. You can either live in the fear frequency, or you
Mhm.
can live in the best case scenario frequency, which is the faith.
Yeah.
So, and to be, and my observation with Christianity, like, and when I've dabbled in Christianity when I was younger, it's like, that's why religion can be so beautiful, because these people are able to walk around holding so much faith
Mhm.
in their life and in their purpose, that they don't get wrapped up in the fears and anxieties of life, because they have so much faith in a higher power.
Yeah.
And for them, that higher power is Christianity. For us, that higher power is like our intuition and our higher selves,
Mhm.
and just like the holistic nature of the universe. But yeah, don't knock it till you try it. Don't judge people for their faith. That's all I can say, because when you live in a place of that like high vibe frequency, I don't know how to say it other than like it feels so good, and it doesn't matter what's going on around you. So when someone's making that judgment about someone else, it's only affecting the person who's making the judgment.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because I also know how like sensitive the topic of religion can be, and that's what faith is just associated with religion.
Yeah.
So anytime someone hears like faith, they just like, or God, they like want to shut it down immediately. They're like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I'm not religious. I don't use those words.
And I'm even like that. I grew
Mhm.
up religious, so even just using the word God like has a certain connotation to me, and so that's why I prefer to use whether it's universe or source or whatever. That even feels better to me, even though it's like the same concept somewhat. But it is hard for me to.
And when we use God, we're not talking about a man in the sky, or when I use God.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I don't like using it, because that's just like where everyone's brain goes.
And that's
like
where everyone's brain goes. But at the same time, like that's the purpose of the podcast, is to be the bridge of realizing like there is no right and wrong. There is no right pond and wrong pond. There is no atheist pond and religious pond. It's like they're both right, yo.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Divine nature of everything, yin and yang, nothing's right, nothing's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what's fun, is like when you get to find that gray area within these like really triggering words, or at least it's really fun for me. I'm like, ooh, let me play with this. But I also grew up in a like very religious community, so I've been surrounded by these concepts, and my family wasn't like, my family has been so open with letting me choose how I want to like look at the world, and like will support me with however I see the world. And for a while, like I chose to go to church. Like that was my choice. I wanted to be there. I was in youth group and I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
But then at some point I started asking questions, and they literally asked me after youth service one day, I asked a question about the freaking solar system or something. And they asked me like, if you have another question, like you're not like, please don't ask it in front of the group. So basically I was getting a little too risque for the youth group. And they were like, your thoughts need to be monitored in private. Basically, we do not want your thoughts to be shared with the rest of the group. And that's when I was like, why?
You're like, that doesn't feel right. Something about that does not feel right.
So I'm not saying like, go church. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying when it comes to holding faith, when it comes to the word faith,
everyone needs something to believe in.
Yeah. And if it's getting people through a hard time, so be it. But also, I do believe we live in a benevolent universe that is working for our highest good. So, and I think we are a part of that universe. That's the whole concept with God that's really confusing, is people separate themselves from it. They're like,
instead of being
God is in control, like he's like the puppet master. He is in control of my life. And it's a he. What the fuck? No. Rather than God being this like everywhere omnipresent energy.
Yeah.
That you and I are God. You and I are made of life force. Life force is God. Basically, life force. Life force energy is what we're talking about if we ever use that word, or
Yeah.
I ever use that word,
Yeah.
or universe, or simulation, or life. that we are made up of.
Yeah.
The energy that is life is like God source energy. And yeah, so when you get that deep into it and you have that many like realizations about it, you realize like, okay, I gotta have faith then, because you literally have two separate paths you can walk down. Is the path of faith or the path of fear.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how to
We're
get any more
trudging down
clear.
the faith path, and it's pretty treacherous, but
It's pretty treacherous,
but we've
also,
come so far that I am not fucking turning around.
No. No. We are not turning around.
No.
You were so right. We've gotten so fucking far.
We're like halfway up this crazy mountain, and there's still.
I think we're closer to halfway.
Okay. We're pretty far up the mountain.
We're pretty far up. No,
Too far to turn around.
Exactly. Exactly.
Too far to turn around.
We're higher than halfway, because we're at that point when you look down, you're like,
yeah.
like I
can
literally
only go up.
I couldn't get
Yeah.
down if I tried.
Mhm.
Wow, what an analogy. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Like if I try and get down, I'm gonna just fall.
Yeah.
But I could keep climbing. I'm gonna be crying.
The top is supposed to be so gorgeous.
Oh my
We
god.
can't stop hearing about it, so we gotta
So
see it for
excited.
ourselves.
Wow. What a beautiful analogy. Yeah. So anyway, climb the faith mountain. I encourage you. Because we came here, that's the other thing. Our realizations is like, we came here to live life. We didn't come here to just like live this boring, stagnant life. Like we
Yeah.
came here for it to be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really unknown and scary, but that's the whole point of faith. It's like, wouldn't life be really boring if we knew what was going to happen all the
Mhm.
time?
Yeah.
So
Might as well make things interesting.
the simulation, I'll use that word now. We'll take out God. Enter simulation. The simulation has been programmed,
Mm-hmm.
so we aren't allowed to know what the future holds.
Yeah.
Say we live in a video game. Say that's all this is.
Could be.
Could
Well,
be.
aliens in the sky are
They just have little controllers.
our plan.
Have you seen? Oh my god, I've been loving this. I've been seeing it online, and someone says like, I don't know what's going on in my life. I'm just here for the outfits or something.
I'm just in charge of the outfit.
I'm just in charge. That's how I feel. I don't know what the fuck's going on in my life. I'm just in charge of the outfits.
Yeah.
That's all I know. I'm a look cute. That's all I know. That's all I
Yeah.
have control. No, I have control over so much more. But like, yeah,
who knows, dude?
who freaking knows? So hold the faith.
But that's been our week.
So yeah, that's been our week.
That's been our week.
Should we end it with a little concept? My
Yeah.
last little tidbit.
Let's do it.
My
Some
last little brain
inspo?
nugget. Okay.
Yeah.
So, concept. If you want different results, you have to try different approaches. This is just something that I've been playing with a lot. There was an actual quote that I really resonated with, but when I went to go look it up online today, the only thing I got was the definition of insanity, and I was like, that's not
Which
what I
is
was trying to
what?
talk about.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher it.
Showing up, acting in the same way, but expecting a different
showing up
result.
in the same way and expecting something different.
Yeah. So basically, the thing that I saw was a positive spin on that, on insanity, and it's like, if you want different results, you have to try different approaches.
Yeah.
So
That's our mantra for the week. We're trying different approaches.
we're trying to show
We're
up a
showing
little
up-
differently
Yeah, showing up in a more
Online.
structured way, more consistent way.
on Reels, video versus we're trying video versus photo.
Mhm.
The other little quote was, "Old ways won't open up new doors."
Mm.
So if you're looking for a new door to open in your life, maybe try a new approach in some way.
Yeah, we're gonna let you know how that goes.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it a whack.
We're all in this together. You're here along for the ride.
And maybe this is your sign to start making video.
Yeah, start making video.
Or
Hold the faith in your own life with
Yeah.
whatever you've been wanting, whatever your hopes and dreams and desires are. Like, I hope you hold the faith through yourself to allow yourself to even like try one of those.
Yeah.
All right.
We have faith in you.
We have faith in you. We're holding space. You are an authentic soul. We know it. Show up authentically. Tag us. Let us see your content.
We'll hype you up.
We'll hype you up. We'll be your hype girls. Yeah. Oh my God. Love that for us.
Mhm.
Universal hype girls.
Mm-hmm. Forget it.
Women supporting women and men and everyone. Because we are the world. We are the children. All right. On that note, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hi.